Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Everyday Survival Gear, and today we are reviewing the YooToo, which is a sub-brand of Amutorch SD3. We're going to call it the C8 killer because it's probably not made to kill C8s. Doesn't have any sharp bits or anything that you can kill C8s with, but for the price and what you get, it's a C8 competitor through and through. Also, sometimes people ask me, why don't you take apart lights the whole way? And when you get a light sent to you and you try to get it apart and then that happens, that's probably why. But in other news, I did get to use my brand new channel locks that I just brought, so it's not all lose-lose. Alright guys, so here's the light, the YooToo, spelled like this way, wait, this way, YooToo SD3, with the serial number there. So YooToo is a sub-brand of Amutorch, so you can expect good quality, at least the quality of Convoy. So if you call that good, then yeah. I know some people don't think Convoy is good quality, but it is pretty good quality. Yeah, and just the other thing, as I said before we start, this mark didn't come on the light. I've done that myself. So yeah, so the battery tube is actually connected to the head with compounds. What's it called? I was gonna say anti-seize. With thread locker. So it is pretty hard to get off. I did heat mine up and try and twist it off, but there's not much grip here without the knurling. So I wasn't able to get it off, and I didn't want to go any further because I did scratch it. So just keep that in mind. First of all, we'll show you what box it comes in and what it comes with. It doesn't really come with very much, so don't mind my desk. So it comes in this box. The box is pretty nice, kind of like a standard size box, but it's pretty good. You get that. That's my own notes. They're from me. The pen doesn't come in there either. All you really get is a spare O-ring and the lanyard, and not even instructions, which is a bit strange. But then again, the C8s didn't come with instructions either. So yeah, I don't know. Alrighty guys, so here's the light in front of us. That's that card that was stuck in there. It's in Chinese, I think, and I am not a fluent translator of Chinese, so I could not tell you what's going on. Something's the hazard. I don't know. So, as I already said, the brand is YooToo. The model number is the SD3. This light was sent to me by Banggood. I'll leave a link in the description. With a coupon for the light's $16 something US. Normal price of that, the coupon is like 18 bucks US, like 18.50. So it's a super cheap light, but what you get is really, really good. That's why I'm basically calling it a C8 killer. I don't have this all in the same kind of group, but the body is T6 aluminium and it's high anodizing type 3. The anodizing finish is actually a pretty nice color. It's not like glossy black, but it's not matte, but it is kind of matte-ish. Hopefully you guys can see a bit better. This is a new camera that I'm using. So yeah, it's kind of like similar to the Nightcore finish. To me, it's got like a kind of purple hue, even though it doesn't, but in some light it looks kind of purplish. My one is using a Philips Luxion V for a total output of 2000 lumens from the stock driver. It is available in SST40 in cold white, and I'm not 100% sure, but looking on Banggood's website, you can't actually buy the Luxion V edition anymore. So for a bit of research, I went to the AliExpress, and it appears that they switched over to a SST40 in 5000K tint. Either way, both LEDs are pretty similar in output per watt. So if 6 amps, you're looking about 2000 lumens at the front from each LED. So it's pretty similar. 2000 lumens at the front at startup is what I measured. And then after about 30 seconds, it was getting about 1800 lumens. So you could expect about, realistically, 1800 lumens from this light. It's using an SMO reflector that is the same size as the C8 reflector, but I'll show you that later when we take it apart. It's got a glass lens, and it's not AR coated, but I'm pretty sure that the glass lenses from the C8s will fit, and I'll show you that later. What else? It's got a reverse tail switch, so clicky, usual kind of setup, same as the C8. It is IPX rated 8 to 2 meters underwater. That's something that the C8s don't come with, is IPX rating. Yeah, so it is impact resistant to 1 meter. It does weigh 126 grams, so it is slightly less than the C8. The C8 is 145 grams, but its head is 45 mils in diameter, which is pretty similar to the C8. Its body length is actually 134 mils, which is shorter than the C8, but it fits a 21-700 cell. You can fit 18 650s in here, but the non-protective cells are a bit short. I'll show you guys that too. Also, its body is 25.4 mils. It's got gold-plated springs, pretty much yada yada yada. It does have a memory mode if you keep the light on that mode for 3 seconds. So you turn it on, 1, 2, 3. We'll turn it off, and it should start again on that mode. And if we scroll through, you should see no PWM. It does appear to be a constant current driver. It's just regulated to 6 amps on turbo mode. We'll run over some driver features. I can't actually get at the driver because I can't get the damn battery tube off. But I think the driver is about 22 to 23 mils in diameter. The MC PCB, the LED, is on a 20 mil direct thermal path board. Speaking about memory mode, there is memory mode, as I said. There's also low battery protection, reverse polarity protection, and the usual step down. It's supposed to be a temperature regulated step down, but I haven't actually tried that myself yet. So it's got 4 modes plus a hidden blinky. You got low mode, which is 50 lumens. I don't know if that's going to start on low. That's low. Medium, 350. High, 1000. And then turbo, 2000 lumens. And I think it's a double click to get to the blinky. And there's only the one blinky mode. So yeah, it's pretty cool that the blinky mode's hidden. I don't mind the stock driver. So as I told you guys, I measured it up to about 6 amps. And which is about 2000 lumens on this LED. Once you equate for the light losses, you're looking at 1800 lumens. The same as like the best C8s out there. So you really you can't complain. It's pretty good. So I've done all of my own testing because I had to know for sure that what I was going to get. So startup, I did get, well, not exactly 2000, 1958 lumens. And then once it leveled off, it was about 1800 lumens. Candela wise, I got 65,993.4. I don't know why there's a 0.4 there. But yeah, so yeah, pretty similar to what a C8 with an XML2 would do. If you actually, XML2 wouldn't even get to 2000 lumens. I think throw wise, it's pretty similar to an XML2. But yeah. So now we'll take the light apart. I'll show you guys what I mean. So that's the rear switch there. There is a nice amount of knurling here that you can get this off easy. It's got one of these slidey thingies here, so you don't scratch it or it gets caught or anything. Using some fancy looking O-rings there. Gold plated springs on the back. You can fit in a normal convoy tail cap light, but some people were saying it was going on to next memory mode, so I'm not 100% sure on that. If you pull the battery out, I had to actually put a magnet on mine when I flicked it because it's too short. So these IMR 25R cells are too short. Looking at the body, I think the reason why I couldn't get it apart so easy was because the body doesn't have any knurling. When we go to the new C8s have a lot of knurling there, and it's pretty cool to grip. I'm not saying that this one's hard, but it is a little bit smoother than the C8. Head-wise, you don't have to take the head off. This isn't really meant for grip. This is more so meant just for cooling. It probably doesn't cool quite as good as a C8, I'd say, but it doesn't really get too hot either, so there's no problems there. So if we have a look down here, which you can't see down there, can you? Nah. Show me. Nope, we can't see down there. I'll get another torch after. We'll take it apart further. Head's stuck now. part. So if you have a look here, you can see the LED, pretty easy. That's the Philips Luxion V, or Luxon, whatever you want to call it. Surprisingly enough, it's not held down by screws. It's pretty much, it's pretty much held down by the reflector. So the reflector sits on top, and that applies pressure. Of course, there is thermal paste underneath it, but if the light gets that hot, the thermal paste is going to become a bit slimy again anyway. So yeah, a nice gasket on there too. Nice small gasket, so you get good throw from this light. Clear O-ring here too to help keep out water. Probably an O-ring here. I probably melted mine now because the light was pretty hot when I had it heated up. Alrighty, so I just took apart a C8, or at least the front end of the C8. I'm bloody dropping everything. So that's the reflector of the YooToo SD3, and this is the reflector of the C8. So you can see, I don't actually think the C8 reflector is even longer. I think just that's a longer thread inside than the C8. So if we have them side by side, here we are here, you can see they're pretty much exactly the same. I don't think I have a ruler out here. I should. Do I have one that isn't comical? Yeah, I do. Oh, I just knocked that over too. Great. Where does that go to? Are these even? It's a little bit shorter on the YooToo, but not by much. But in width-wise, they should both be pretty much exactly the same. So we'll have a look. This is the YooToo one here. So from edge to edge, it's 40. This is the C8 one here. Edge to edge, it's 40. A little bit, maybe tiny bit more on the C8, but pretty much like exactly the same. 40, 40. Just this one's a little bit shorter, but yeah. Alright guys, you can hear the rain, it's pretty loud in here. That's the YooToo lens, and that's the C8 lens. I put this back together, and then I remembered what I wanted to do. Bloody hell. So we'll take them out. I don't want to scratch the YooToo lens, but yeah, just throw it on the floor. Is there an O-ring in there? I can't really see. Yeah, it looks like there's an O-ring in there. Let me get out. How much light do I need in here? I've got like 2,000 lumens and I can't even see. Yeah, there is definitely an O-ring in there. So that'll help keep our water too. So we'll take the AR coated C8 lens. That's bloody stuck on. So just to show you guys, oh, there's the O-ring there. Can't even see it. Just to show you guys, that's the lens of the YooToo. So you can see it's clear. It does actually have a little bit of a hue when you bend it to the side, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it's AR coated to me. And then that's the C8 one. So you can definitely see that that's AR coated. We'll put that inside the head of the YooToo SD3. And it fits fine. Obviously, if you've got the O-ring on there, it won't rattle as much. But yeah. So same head, reflector, lens. Yeah, anything that's really different is the driver. Alright guys, so I just wiped up the lenses to put them back in. And I just realised how thin the lens is on the YooToo SD3. Look at that. That's bloody thin. Plus the reflectors also are a tad bit shorter. So makes me think, yeah, I don't know. So I've had the YooToo apart before, but it's not really something that you notice, like unless it's side by side. So that's the YooToo lens there, and that's the C8 AR coated glass lens there. I might pull apart a stock C8 and see how big that lens is. Alright, I'll just show you guys, that's the LED board there. You can see it is copper, and that there is a proper shelf in there. As for the driver, I'll have to get another torch to show you down there. So there is gold-plated springs, and there is a driver in there. But yeah, that's about the best as I can do. You can see it is a pretty wide driver, but yeah. What's next? Alright guys, so as someone that owns just a couple of C8s, let's just move the camera down a second. Oop, lower. So I do own a few C8s, plus let's just say there's another C8 in my room, plus there's two that live out here in the shed. One that I tried to paint years ago when I was just getting into torches, and one that's an Ultrafire brand, and it's got no pill in it right now, I don't think. So that's got a bloody AR coated lens. I might take the lens off this one and put it on that Amutorch. So yeah, as someone that owns quite a few C8s, I can honestly say I really like the YooToo SD3. I think it's an awesome light. Can I make the camera? You can see it runs on the 21700 battery. It can fit an 18650 in there, but it is hard to make contact, so just keep that in mind. If you got one of the longer ones, it'll be fine. And the 21700 cells have to be the ones without the USB charging. But if you look at how compact it is, even compared to a C8, you know, it offers the same throw as a C8, but in a smaller package. Smaller and slightly lighter. The lightness doesn't even come from the pill, because there's still a solid pill that's a few mils thick. So you still get pretty good heat dissipation, even after leaving it on for a minute. Yeah, it heats up, but it's not super hot. It's about the same as a C8. So it is pretty cool to have, you know, now another option that looks cool and that functions well to compete with the C8. Because, you know, after a while, the C8s, they all become the same. And yeah, fair enough, the new C8 is pretty cool and it does look different. But in the end, you know, same, I guess. Go down. So yeah, overall, I really like the Amutorch YooToo SD3. I think it's a really good torch. And we got a whole shit ton of beam shots to do now, so let's head outside. Alright guys, now we're outside getting some beam shots done. Got the Amutorch YooToo SD3 on the slowest mode. You can see it still does a really good job of lighting up the backyard. Right enough. You know, I don't know what to say. The beam pattern is pretty much exactly the same as a C8 with an XML2. Because the Luxion V, it is a pretty wide LED. I think it might only be a 40-40. I don't think it's a 50-50, but I could be wrong. I don't know that much on them. We'll go to next mode, so that'll be lowest. That'll be medium mode, middle mode. It'll probably make it to the tree at 100 meters from this mode. Yeah, it does, but you can't see it that well, but it does get there. Alright, we'll go high mode, which is 1000 lumens. Gets to the tree easy at 1000 lumens. Back in the days, this would have been where the Convoy C8 stop, and they don't go any brighter. But nowadays, you can get a C8 in up to 2000 lumens, I guess. And we've got turbo mode, which is 2000 lumens. You can see in my backyard, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but if you're in a field, you'll notice it. But it still is definitely brighter. Quite a nice tint, actually. I quite enjoy this tint. Looks better than some of the Krees that are 5000Ks, that's for sure. We'll go here to the tree at 100 meters, and it gets there super easy, no problems. Alright, now we will compare it to a few C8s that I got. First we'll go to the stock C8 and see how that goes. Okay guys, so I love memory mode, the stock, the SD3 here to the left, turn on the memory mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Sorry guys. So that's the C8, the stock C8. It's a C8 with a 3 amp driver and an XPL HI, cold white. No, actually I think mine's a neutral white. Pretty sure it's a neutral white because it looks pretty similar. And that's the Amutorch YooToo SD3 there to the left. So left SD3, right stock Convoy C8 with XPL HI. So XPL HI, it does definitely throw further, but yeah, tint wise they're actually pretty close to the neutral whites. I think the Philips is just a little bit warmer still. We'll go to the tree at 100 meters. That's the SD3 there, and that's how the C8 with the XPL HI does. So the C8 with the XPL HI does throw a little bit better, but that's to be expected. Alright guys, so now we've got the YooToo SD3 on to the left. We'll just cycle modes, low, medium, high, turbo, and to the right I'm going to put a C8 on that has a XHP 50.2 that's got a sliced dome. So that's the XHP 50.2 and that's the SD3. So you can see the SD3 definitely holds its own. I don't think the XHP 50.2 in here is actually that bright. It's not really 4000 lumens. It's probably only like, I think 3000 lumens, and because of the beam pattern it doesn't seem the brightest, but that's the XHP50 there, and that's the SD3 there. So you can see on the camera it does appear to be, I think it's brighter, but yeah, not the brightest light. Maybe because it's in one of the cheap older C8s, it's not working the best. It's in one of the ones that takes a pill. That's an Ultrafire brand. So yeah. Next up, I've got a different light to compare it to, so we can just have a look at the beam patterns side by side. Alright guys, so we've got the YooToo SD3 on to the left, and to the right you got the BLF D80 V2 on its highest mode. Well, that's its highest mode now. So side by side you can see the beam patterns are pretty similar. I think the beam is just slightly tighter on the SD3. The tints are actually pretty similar. This SST40 is like a neutral white tint, but I don't think it's, actually it might be 5000K, I can't remember. Let's go to the tree at 100 meters and see how it does. Oh, camera's pretty tight, I've got to undo it. It's not usually that tight. Okay, so there's the tree, that's the SD3 to the tree, and that's the D80. Throw is pretty similar between these two, I think. So pretty similar beam patterns. With the LED, the Luxion V might actually be a bigger LED than the SST40. I'm not sure, I don't actually know that much information about it. I'll have to double check that. But cool, very similar actually, output wise and throw wise. Alright guys, that's the review of the YooToo SD3 done. You know, personally speaking, if I could choose one, it's a pretty hard choice, but I really like this YooToo SD3. I think for now, I could find myself buying one of these. Yeah, the battery tube is hard to get off, and I still haven't done that, but mind you, the last C8 that I got, the one that I've done the review on, the Desert Tan one that you just seen, that driver is also, it's thread locked in, and I never bothered to undo it because I don't really, well, I do it sometimes if I have to, but because I got so many C8s that are already done up, I decided to leave that one stock just for review purposes. If I could have gotten the driver out easy, I might have done it up, but to me, you know, using the heat and stuff is kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, so either way, you know, even the new C8, it's also not perfect. So if you could mod one, it's hard to choose because they're so similar, but I'd probably go for price. And right now the SD3 is that little bit cheaper, and you do get such a good package. Like, the light itself is built really well. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. When I get it apart, which I will do, don't worry, unless it doesn't come apart there, there's always that problem, eh? Maybe, who knows? It would have been the first time I stuffed up like that. So yeah, when I get it apart, I'll get the clamp meter back out and I'll make a tiny video, only a few minutes long, and I'll show you guys the driver and stuff. Alright, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and well, yeah, thanks.